All right, back with 7.4, now grade 11. So what we're looking at here is still simultaneous equations, but this time we're dealing with worded problems, so we have to actually kind of mind the question and work out what it's asking. In the first one, they've actually been quite generous. They've actually given us the two linear equations that we need to work out, but we just need to show a little bit more interpretation of the question here. So let's have a read. A break-even point is when the costs equals the selling price. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight that for a second. It is also the point where there is zero profit. Okay, for example, if the equation cost equals 45 plus 3t represents the production cost to sell t-shirts, and the equation R equals 14t represents the revenue from selling shirts for $14 each, then the break-even point is the number of shirts that need to be sold to cover all of the costs. So what we want to find is basically when our break-even point occurs here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make these equal to each other. So, inserting the equation, we're going to get 14t is equal to 45 plus 3t. From there, we can simply go and solve it. So minus 3t on the other side will give you 11t. Okay, then it's going to be t is equal to 45 divided by 11. Okay, that's going to give you 4 and 1/11. I'll just get that as a decimal, one moment. So 45 divided by 11 is, we'll round that to basically 4.09. Okay, now I'll talk about what that means here. Okay, so to cover all costs this person would need to sell, we'd have to round that up to 5 shirts, because at 4 shirts we wouldn't have it covered. But just as an example, substituting this back in, when I put 4.09 as t into my R equals 14t, 14 times 4.09 will give you $57.26. Okay, just remember that number, 57.26. Now, when I sub the 4.09 into my other equation, okay, I end up with 57.27. So near enough close to each other. So in this case, we'd have to round up to 5, because at 4 she wouldn't have covered all costs, but at 5 she would have. So because you can't sell 0.09 of a shirt. Okay. Now the next one is actually quite easy, but may not look like it at first. So let's just have a read of it. Sorry, I just gotta get some space here. Giving me grief. There we go. Okay, at a fruit shop, 2 kilograms of apples and 3 kilograms of bananas cost $13.16. And 3 kilograms of apples and 2 kilograms of bananas cost $13.74. Represent this information in the form of a pair of simultaneous equations. Well, we're going to do a bit more than that. We're going to go and solve it as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's talk about our pronumerals. We've got apples and we've got bananas. Now, we're obviously not talking about 1 banana or 2 bananas or different things like that. We're going to represent them as kilograms. So the first equation we're going to get, just insert the equation again, is going to be 2 kilograms of apples plus 3 kilograms of bananas, A and B, is equal to 13.16. There's my first equation. Now, my second equation is going to be 3 kilos of apples plus 2 kilos of bananas is equal to 13.74. Now, in terms of how we go about solving this, there's 2 ways. You could do substitution, or you could do elimination. I've gone through how to solve this one with elimination before, but I've actually never shown you how to solve one like this with substitution, because it is actually quite difficult to solve this one using substitution. Okay, so what we might do is we might do this using That didn't work the way I wanted it to. There we go. So we're going to scale this one up and this one up, okay? So they're going to come in pairs. So I quickly just delete this. There we go. Now they line up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll do elimination with this method. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'll scale this up. Let's eliminate the A's. We want to get them to 6. If we wanted to eliminate B's, we need to get them to 6 as well. So to turn this into 6, we need to times it by 3 to get 6A. This would give us 9B. Now, we then have to take this and times it by 3. That's going to give you 39.48. Just checking. Yep, $39.48. The bottom one we need to multiply it by a scale factor of 2. That's going to give you 6A plus 4B timesing 1374 by 2 is 27.48. There we go. So now you see I've got the two sixes the same, and we can do our little riffle shuffle method, okay, and put them in. That's going to give us the following equation, okay, just delete that one. So we're going to get 6A plus 9B, that's not changing, minus, don't forget your bracket, 6A plus 4B is equal to 39.48. In this case, we are going to be subtracting because that eliminates the two positive numbers. Minus 27.48. From there, we can expand and solve. That's what I'm doing now. So, what that's going to do is going to be minus 6A, minus 6A, minus 4B. Subtracting these two here, we're going to get 12. Okay, gives us 12 exactly. Hopefully I've done that correctly, but I should have. Yeah, looks right to me. Okay, so next up, the 6A's are going to cancel. Okay, I'll do this on another line, so I'm not just shoehorning it into one line of working. So the 6A's are gone. That's the whole point of elimination. We get 9B minus 4B. That's going to give you 5B. So 5B is equal to 12. So we can now determine that the cost per kilogram of bananas is going to be 2.4. I did that by doing 12 divided by 5. That will give you 2.4. Okay? Now, from there, we now know the cost of bananas. You can use either of these. I'll just use the top one. We're going to substitute B. We know that B is now $2.40. Let's sub that in and solve. Okay, so 3 times 2.4 is going to be 7.2. We're going to move that over to the other side. Now, I'm just going to combine a couple of steps here. What we would do first is we would minus the 7.2. Oh, that's not in the equation. That's why it's doing it a bit funny. But before we do that, I'm going to put it in brackets, and you're going to see why, because we're going to divide it. Okay, I'm just combining a couple of steps. Okay, now when I divide, I'm going to put it all over 2, and that's going to get rid of the 2 here. Remember, the opposite of timesing by 2 is dividing by 2. Now I'm just going to put that into my calculator. Let's see what we end up with. So 13.16 minus 7.2, divide that by 2, $2.98. Now I'm just going to quickly double check my answer, and I'll tell you how I'm going to do that. So 2.98. How I'm going to check that is I'm going to take my answer of 2.98. I'm going to substitute it in here. And what I should end up with is the answer of $2.40 for the bananas. So I'm going to do my 13.74. We're then going to subtract 3 times 2.98. Gives me $4.80. Divide that by 2. And I get $2.40. So the numbers line up. We put our statement. So what I'm doing now might not seem, needed or anything like that, but it absolutely 100% is, because it shows that you understand what you've worked out. And there we go. Through some double checking, we were able to verify our answer. And there is the worked example done for 7.4, guys. Hope you enjoyed.